Charles Miller map is a map made in 1507, and its main claim to fame is that it's the map that gave America its name, and in effect the map that introduced the New World as we know it today to Europe. It's an utterly fascinating map of the world. The story of how it gave America its name is really, really interesting, but that's only one part of the story. It, in one single giant image, brings together entire worlds, and I mean that historically. It tells all sorts of stories about the ways that Europeans explored and discovered new parts of the world in the Middle Ages. This map, in effect, brought all that together and presented for the first time a vision of the world that we now see on all our world maps. It's really the kind of the mother of the modern world map. I haven't actually done a count of characters, but I would guess there are scores of them at least, possibly more than 100. There are medieval monks in the book. There are missionaries who, in robes and sandals, walked all the way across Central Asia. There's Marco Polo, who I think is a really fascinating character. I was very fond of some of the humanists in the early Renaissance who began to study ancient geography and did it for reasons that had nothing to do with geography. They just wanted to read ancient texts and figure out what all the place names were. And I loved the feeling of these guys beginning to do that and then realizing that they were actually starting to see the world in new ways. And I only allowed myself to pursue subjects and areas of history that I felt I could see in the map. And those maps did something very different than modern maps. They were not just maps of geography, but they were history. And at the time, the word map actually often meant history, and the word history was sometimes applied to maps. So I tried to let that idea guide me back into the history of the period. The story of the making of this map is really a sort of grand collective story about how Europeans over the course of centuries were able to let go of traditional ideas about the world, and they were able to begin exploring new parts of the world, and most important, were able to synthesize that information and start to reimagine what the world looked like and come up with a picture of the world that really for the first time shows you what we know the world to look like today.